Yo, what up? This be Rhut the What. So today I'm going to tell you guys Johnny Joke Part 2. I know you guys are super excited and you guys have been waiting for 2 weeks to hear this story. And you know, part 1 about Johnny, he had his tongue stuck to the side of his cheek and he talked like this, he talked like that, and it was really embarrassing. Well, guess what? He got it fixed. So now he talks normal, and he's got a lot of friends, and his mom is so relieved. I would be too. So, I think that's all I need to tell you. Well, anyway, so Johnny, he is going, I think he's in the 8th grade, I think it's in the 8th grade. But anyway, he is a very good student. He's the teacher's pet, and he makes all A's. He is such a smart kid, okay? So one day, Johnny was sitting at his desk, and it was probably math class, I think. I'm not sure what class it was, but let's just say math, okay? We'll go with that one. So Johnny was sitting at his desk, okay, and a piece of paper flew on it. And that's not good. It's not good at all. And so Johnny, the teacher saw that happen, and he's like, Johnny, stand up and read that to the class. And Johnny's like, okay, I guess I will. So he stands up, and he opens a paper, and he reads it, and he's like, what is that? And the teacher's like, Johnny, what did it say? And Johnny's like, beef stroganoff? And the teacher's like, and the whole class is like, and the teacher's like, Johnny, go to the principal's office right now. And Johnny's like, okay. So he's heading down the hall to the principal's office. And when he gets there, the principal sees Johnny, and she's like, Johnny, what are you doing in here? And he's like, well, I was sitting at my desk, and a piece of paper flew on it, and it said beef stroganoff, and then now I have to come in here. And she's like, Johnny, what did you just say? Beef stroganoff? She's like, Johnny, I really don't want to do this, but you have to leave right now. Right now. Go get your stuff right now and just leave. You're not allowed to come back ever again. And Johnny's like, okay. Okay. So he gets his stuff and he leaves. And he has to walk all the way home. Let's just say 15 minutes, I think. So we'll just go with 15 minutes, okay? So he has to walk all the way home. 15 minutes long. Like, that's a long walk for that little kid. I don't know. Thinking about it just makes me tired, doesn't it? Oh my goodness. So by the time Johnny gets home, he's walking into his driveway, and he's pulling in, walking in actually, yeah. And, he sees his little doll on the ground and his bike. And then he walks up the steps, still thinking about that word, beef stroganoff. And when he opens the door, he sees Mom in a yoga pose. I don't know what pose it was, but let's just go with the cobra pose. Whatever that is. So Mom is in the cobra pose with, like, really weird music in the background, and Johnny's like, Mom? And she kind of like, what? Johnny, what are you doing home? He's like, she kind of like, before he, when she sees Johnny, she kind of gets out of her pose and turns off the music. Click. And so Johnny's like, I was sitting at my desk, and a piece of paper flew on it, and it said beef stroganoff, and then the principal enters in, it's like, Johnny, what did you just say? Beef stroganoff? And you said that in front of the teacher and principal? And he's like, yeah. And now you're saying it in front of me? And he's like, yeah. I can't believe you said that. Go to your room and wait till your father gets home. Johnny's like, oh, that's really bad. Because, by the way, Johnny's father never does the punishing. So he's in really big trouble. And so Johnny's like, okay. And so he goes upstairs, sits on his bed, and he's kind of sitting there waiting. And he checks his watch, and he's like, only 3 o'clock. And he's sitting there. And he looks at his watch again. It's 5 o'clock. He should be home in an hour. So he's sitting there. And he's sitting. And he's sitting. And he looks at his watch again. He's like, alright, 6 o'clock. It's getting closer. He should be here any minute. And he's waiting. And then he hears his dad's car pull into the lane. And then he hears him get out, close the door. And he can hear his keys shing, cling, cling, cling as he's walking. And then he hears him walk into the house. And then he hears voices downstairs. And then he hears a pause. And it's quiet. And then he hears feet coming up the stairs. I don't know how many steps it was, but it seemed like it was taking more longer than usual. Johnny finally hears the knock at the door. Knock, knock, knock. Yes, Johnny says. It's me. Let me in. And Johnny's like, it's unlocked. You can come in. And in comes his father. And Johnny, he's sitting on his bed. Side of it. And so Johnny's father comes, sits down beside him. Yeah. And then Johnny's father's like, Johnny, what happened? Johnny's like, I was sitting at my desk and a piece of paper flew on it. And the teacher saw it and he told me to stand up and read it to the class. And after I read it, I went to the principal's office, and she asked me what happened and what the paper said. And I told her, and then she told me to go home. And then Mom, she asked, Johnny, why are you home so early? And I told her, and then now I'm on my bed and talking to you. And Johnny's father's like, Johnny, what did the paper say? What? And Johnny's like, it says cows. And Johnny's father's like, Johnny, what did it say? Okay, I'm sure it's not that bad. Just what did it say? Beef stroganoff? Yeah. And Johnny was kind of looking down as he said this word, and he looked up at his father. Whew! Whew! That was, oh my goodness. Johnny's father, his face was like, what did you just say? And Johnny's like, beef stroganoff. And Johnny's father's like, oh, Johnny. And he stands up and he looks at Johnny in the eye and says, Johnny, get out of my house right now. I don't want to see you ever again. Get out right now. And Johnny's like, okay. And so on his way out, he grabs his pajamas, his toothbrush, and his teddy bear, and he leaves. And before he turned the corner of the street, he looked back at his house and says, goodbye. Goodbye, life. Mom and Dad and everything, and food and everything. And Johnny's like, what am I going to do? And I don't know what he did. I don't know, but all I know is what happened 10 years later when Johnny was like 22 or something. I don't really remember his age. Anyway, Johnny, he's 22. He's still got his pajamas and teddy bear and toothbrush. He's walking down the street, and he sees a big bulletin board across the street. And in big lettering, it says, beef stroganoff. And Johnny's like, oh my goodness, I can finally see why I got kicked out of the house. I can finally see. And so Johnny, he's quickening his steps, and he's getting closer, and he sees little words underneath it, okay? And he's getting closer, and he's crossing the street, and he's crossing, and he's getting closer, and he can almost see the words, and then smack! Got hit by a bus. And that's what happened to Johnny. He never got to figure out what happened? What beef stroganoff was? He never figured it out. But that's all I have for you guys. I know you guys are probably just like dying in your seats laughing, but this story does have a point, okay? It's look both ways before you cross the street, people, because you could get hit by a bus or a car or a semi-truck or anything that's on the road. So look both ways before you cross the street, guys. It's a very important lesson, okay? But that's all I have for you guys today. I know that I was like 2 weeks late at putting part 2 on. So I will try and make it up and put part 3 on a lot sooner than I did part 2. But I hope you guys enjoyed this story, and I will see you guys soon. You guys can subscribe and let others know to watch this amazing video, okay? Just tell them, watch this video, guys, it's amazing. Just watch it. Hey, you, watch this video, it's amazing. Do that for me, will you? Okay. So this is Rhut the What saying bye.